Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL 1 Road to Rio, where Complexity have taken the early lead in this series. It wasn't easy for them, but they've got there, and now it's up to see if they can take it on Dust2. My name is Hawker, joined by Dean, and we're getting straight into this one. Vitality going for some early mid-control.
Yeah, which normally indicates that you do want to bring it towards B, which in this situation could be a bit of an issue. There is that B stack with the ability for the quick flank through short as well. And I was going to say, so far, really just being chipped away at as they try and go forward. Eventually finding a couple of frags to give those openings poison, though. Trying to fight back in, hits a fantastic headshot on Zywoo. And with the help of Config as well, they do drop it to a 2 versus 2 as the bomb goes down.
Ooh, quick kill on RPK, gets the trade on the back of his teammate's dead body. So it is Vitality who come away with the pistol round win. Once again, Vitality having RPK show up early in this game. He gets the 3K with the P250 in his hands. Always can be very good on these pistol rounds. And Vitality off to a flyer here on Dust2. But as we've said so often in this series, Dean, the second round full spy coming through, and on Dust2, you're always going to see those scouts come out. And I know that Poison has a mean scout, so we got to watch out for that.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some glimpses of it even there in that previous half, obviously, when he was on the B bomb site, hit a ridiculous headshot to slow down the push and allow for his team to eventually win the round. But there's some pretty good damage already actually being done by the scout of Zywoo. I believe he tagged up Obo on the cross initially, then able to find Config as he was getting a little bit adventurous, I guess, with his jump peaks. So a pretty decent advantage here, both in terms of the health and, of course, the weaponry for Vitality. But I'm definitely not counting out Complexity. With 2 scouts and with those deagles, they can combine to cause a significant amount of damage as well. Hit a couple of shots with the scouts, suddenly the deagles have a very easy time. 1 to the body is going to be enough for the kills. And even vice versa, if the deagle hits 1 to the body, then the scout, of course, at that point, 1 to the body going to be enough to finish off pretty much a fast moving up. But let's see, I don't know how well that's going to work out. Again, it is going to be Vitality focusing on mid, looking to bring it towards B, but this time it's not a 3-man stack.
No, only 2 CTs here, and Config had the scout, so that was never going to work close quarters. The MAC-10s can run it onto the B-bomb site. No difficulty for them here. Masuta and Apex both chiming in with 1 kill apiece. And the Frenchies will be getting their second round on the board pretty comfortably here. In fact, I think the MAC-10s are going to go hunting, Dean. They're looking for some extra cash. Some decent damage by Shox, considering the range. Ooh, scout shot.
I mean,
not really landing. There we go. Zoe gets it eventually. They'd like the MAC-10s to get these kills, preferably, but Blame F lands a great headshot to deny that.
I was going to say I don't want to see them hunting this too aggressively, but obviously it is really just the SMGs that they're sending out to get those kills. But it's also given a chance for Complexity to potentially retrieve something for themselves. And yeah, the AK actually goes out. RPK ends up dropping a rifle now over to Rush. Sure, it's the only weapon really they have to work with in this round, but he can give the deagle to a teammate as well. Now there's 2 players who can actually try and keep causing some damage to that economy for Vitality. I think that was a little bit risky, but let's see. It shouldn't cost them too massively unless Rush manages to come out as an absolute hero in this round and do pretty much everything on his own. They've actually also invested into a deagle on Blame F, so I mean, if a couple kills even come out Complexity, they could certainly be happy with how this round goes. That's going to be the main goal for them. Vitality, they want to keep as many alive as possible, start building up some money. And they're just rushing straight into B, which this time is completely open.
And this probably won't be a fun round for Complexity. They've lost the B site within the first 20 seconds of the round. Bomb should be planted. And at that point, it's just probably going to come down to saving the AK. But like you were saying, just the reinvestment that Vitality are going to have to go for now to buy more AKs is going to be a bit of a detriment. Rush is going to get 1 shot to land, a second AK into their hands, but Apex back from T-spawn lines up the shot with the deagle. Pretty easy kill from behind. And now Rush might not be so safe. Masuta hunts him down at the end, so they're going to get their AK back. That's all good for Vitality. They'll be happy with that. And it actually works out pretty well for Vitality. Their money is surprisingly good now, and they even get that AK back into their hands. So it's all good. They've redeemed themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that one's a much stronger round from them. We should now see, of course, the buy actually coming out here from Complexity. They are having a small technical issue at the moment. I presume that you can't see what's actually being said in the chat. A headset problem, we're being told there by Config. So I'd imagine he's the one that's actually having the issue. Apparently, the headset is making a weird sound. Maybe weird sounds are just universal at the moment, because apparently we got one on the stream a second ago as well.
Ooh, always fun. what sort of sound did we get?
From
Maybe
what I was told in the chat, some weird static in the left ear for a second.
that's not a fun sound. Hopefully that's not
No,
what Config's
I
getting
didn't
as
hear
well.
it, thankfully. I think it was just through the stream. You didn't hear it yourself either. You're the
I
one
did
running
not
the
hear it.
stream. So it must have been some sort of OBS.
I feel like if I were Config, just play without the headset, right? Just go mad entrying. He's got the aim. You don't need sound, right?
Nah, I mean, there's deaf people who play CS.
True. I think Fur is like almost deaf in one ear. You hear about some of those
He
players
definitely has
sometimes.
some issues, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember watching a stream of some girl. I was really intrigued because the title was Deaf CSGO Player, so I went in to watch and give it a listen. But she just had the whole stream muted. She was like, "I want you to experience exactly what I'm feeling." And I was just like, "I couldn't do this.
Oh,
I would
God.
not be able to play like this. It would be impossible." I was like, "Good on you for giving it a go."
Yeah, fair enough.
So in a game like CS, sound is just so important.
I remember the one as well that was always crazy to me was when I was watching Loop stream when he was like popping off, like just watching him be infinitely better than I'll ever be at Counter-Strike. When I have every advantage available to me, it's impressive what people can do. Not impressive what I can do though, Dean. I'm sure you've noticed from some of our games.
Oh, you might be the best player I know. Apologies. That squeaking sound was actually my door. My mom was dropping me in a cup of tea, so
We're getting all sorts of sounds.
Yeah, we could remix them, make a beat.
We could do that, or maybe we could not, because I don't think Twitch
No.
chat would enjoy that.
I don't think anyone would enjoy that, but
I
yeah,
wouldn't
coming
enjoy
into
that.
this first gun round now, Vitality keeping weaker weapons. It was looking like they just wanted to straight up rush B, but once that smoke goes down, I think it's going to make them reconsider things. They do still have a couple AKs, they have a scout as well as those two MAC-10s, so they definitely don't have to force the issue immediately. They were going to do it perhaps if the opportunity availed itself, but once the smoke is put in place, it's too risky.
Now, these MAC-10s will continue to lead the way up through mid. They have got the AK of Apex behind them in case they need to take some fights. Right now, Zywoo's just holding back. This time, Zywoo's got the Tech 9 in his back pocket in case he needs it, which has seen a resurgence recently with the buff it's received. Good bit of damage from that nade. The Molotov kept the players in a pretty particular position, so that nade could land quite nicely. Vitality will use a couple of nades onto this A site, try and keep Complexity guessing as they up the pace on towards B.
Yeah, not going to be really slowing it at all until a couple bullets actually go into the head of Masuda there. Unfortunately, we will see Config also being able to find one, but in the meantime, Vitality actually begin to swing it back. It's the lurker there as well of Shocks that's going to be able to put a stop to any sort of rotation coming in. Suddenly, it's all left on Rush. He had gotten aggressive out too long, hoping that maybe he could get something done on a flank, but all of his teammates are gone before he can really position himself. So Complexity just straight up locked out at his gun round. Shocks has even retrieved himself an op, which I think Rush may want back. I think at this point he's just more being cautious that Shocks at this point could still be sticking around towards the bomb site.
This is pretty much the perfect start for Vitality in terms of winning this first gun round as well. With some of those MAC-10s they carried over, now they get to save an AWP even in the hands of Shocks, or at least should get to save it as long as Rush doesn't get too aggressive. They are just all going to sit in CT spawn, so they will be fine. And the money is just going to be mounting up for Vitality now because they're already rich, but they're going to be against probably a half buy here from Complexity around this saved M4 from Rush. And you can already see an early timeout taken by Complexity. I think this is a team that when they get on the back foot, that they could have some issues with having some inexperienced players in there. Even Blame F as their in-game leader isn't all that experienced. So I think taking this early timeout makes some sense. They've got to get their heads back in the game here.
For sure, you don't want to let it get out of control at this point. We said, of course, this is the map choice of Vitality, so you would say after losing that first map, you hope they come back and manage to actually take it to a map number 3. And with how it's starting, for sure, that does look like it's a pretty high possibility, but it's not out of control yet for Complexity. As we said, of course, not really having the money here for the full buy, so their discussion probably a little bit more focused on the upcoming round where they will have the full investment. But they've definitely had some time to discuss what they want to try and do with the one rifle they have here, with the Deagles as well, that they've been able to pull out, and with a pretty decent amount of utility, if I'm being honest. They have quite a few flashes, especially.
I like having so many flashbangs. Always gives you the chance where if you have just one really well-placed flashbang, it really can change a round sometimes. But this time it's Config, again being pressured. This B bomb site has been the same play over and over again from Vitality, and Complexity have not been able to stop it so far. They've left the bomb behind this time though, so Vitality will be slowed, and Obo gets a kill at top mid. That's another rifle that can be recovered here, and Rush is still fighting for the bomb site. Not any longer though. ZywOo sprays him down.
Yeah, just through the edge of the smoke there. Was already low, so not really too much needing to be done. And that does give them the bomb site now itself. But BlameF still sticking around pretty nearby. You see the bomb for the moment still yet to be planted. But once it does start getting put down, unfortunately, Complexity probably not going to be able to do much about it. I like the idea there, the nade going in, not really going to land correctly, unfortunately, or at least not in the position where the bomb was being planted. Still tapping it though. I mean, this has given a lot of time for them to at least rotate in through tunnels, where you can see both of the AKs now looking to try and challenge up against Shocks. And unfortunately, it's not going too well. Obo already tagged down. You see Poison getting dropped. And at this point, I think it is kind of just save those rifles.
Yeah, it's not always easy to save when you get onto this B site, though. BlameF's got the one side cut off, Obo's got the other side. You can stay alive on the site. RPK in that position would survive to the blast of the bomb, but a bit of damage done, and then you can be in trouble there. And Obo's just naded that AK back into tunnels. That could help BlameF recover that, but BlameF's just fighting them off. Only gets the one kill, but it's more damage done to Vitality's economy, which is very important at this point, because Vitality had a lot of money built up ahead of this round. And I think Obo is probably just going to hold on to the AK at this point. He's low on health, so he'll just sit back. It is the 5-0 lead for Vitality, but not a bad round for Complexity considering the circumstances. I think now we need to start seeing some round wins, though. Poison's got the AWP in his hands. They took the timeout previously. This is their chance to get their first on the board.
Even with the damage they've been doing throughout these last couple of rounds, or at least, yeah, in that previous one and then the round before as well, only 3 survived, the economy is still in a really fantastic position for Vitality, so we need to see Complexity at least chain in a couple of rounds together if they want to put a dent in that and actually start to have a bit of an easier time at getting those rounds. We do see a strong start, though, with an attempt at the long control. It was only Apex, I believe, who made it out over towards Blue, does get peeked and then taken down by Rush, so that's an opening for Complexity, and something that we haven't really seen them be able to actually find early on in this round. A nice advantage for them to work with to keep the pressure off slightly.
All of Vitality currently positioned in this short area of the map, and here comes the fly in from Shocks. He somehow gets away with a kill from that position. Poison's looking to lock this down though, but he's been flashed off the angle, so decides to back away, concedes the A-bomb site, and in the meantime, Obo gets another kill for his squad. So even though Vitality get the bomb down, the numbers advantage is firmly in favor of Complexity.
And you're not really seeing any opportunity for Vitality to get themselves control either. I mean, there's no one on short, so if they wanted, they could move back in that direction where the bomb is planted for. At the moment, I guess, being a little bit cautious of everywhere. It's 2 players coming up through that CT spawn, and it's Rush who just cleans up on his own, finding both of those remaining kills. Plenty of time, obviously, for that defuse to come through, and Complexity, they do finally add a round to that board. But as I said, they need to try and get another one off the back of it because they haven't put Vitality in a position yet where they're worrying about the money. They'll be rebuying. They'll probably have another one again in the following round. So they need to keep this going.
Yeah, it's definitely important because if you don't get on top of that economy, obviously it's going to be full buys for Vitality, but also ZywOo's going to keep getting that AWP, which we know he can win rounds by himself with if he's on his top level, which is oftentimes the case. So this is still scary for Complexity, but definitely a better sign there as they remain in control of the round. Complexity now with the double AWP setup in play on the CT side, but they've lost A long control very early into this round. Poison gets naded off this angle. Vitality have got 3 players pushed out through A long, so Complexity are going to have to concede that early control and just play back from the bomb sites.
I'd like to see them get the short control, but obviously not aware of the fact that Vitality don't have any players there, so instead they want to try and actually re-challenge towards long. Shot being connected there by the off, but it was through the corner of the wall, so Rush for the moment was allowed to stay alive, but eventually being finished off by that boost there from Apex. At this point, Vitality, do they want to continue to challenge extremely heavy? I think at this point they hold for a sec, they wait to see if Complexity fall back themselves. And I think in general, Vitality just going to give up on long completely. Okay, interesting approach. Going to bring it back around through spawn, maybe over towards B. Normally, when you get that long control, you might want to bring it back, get short control, allow for your team to pincer in towards the bomb site. But no, they've actually made probably the correct call in this situation, because for the moment, it's Obo and Trusted alone on B. As they spot one on mid, though, you see Config instantly starts rotating.
Ooh, big spray down from Obo. Quick double kill. Neither of them headshots, but the spray to the chest and the shot through the box from Config. Great work from Complexity as Config keeps on going, and Apex also hits the deck. What a round from Config rotating over there. But the fact that Obo gets those 2 kills to begin with and stays alive, that just slows Vitality down. That gives Config time to really get onto the B site, to land all those shots, and to make sure Complexity remain in control of the round.
Yeah, that was just fantastic. Playing the headshot angle there, crouched down so that his head would, of course, be harder to hit. Manages to get that double kill, and a solid recovery from Complexity in what was looking like it could have been a pretty tough round for them. And also finding the opening here. Yeah, Poison going to be able to find one despite being completely blinded over on long as well. So instantly as this round has begun, Apex and Zywoo are already gone. That is not a good position for them to be in. I mean, Apex, Zywoo, and RPK were definitely the standout players on that previous map. But Masuta, he is looking to try and pull something back here for Vitality. It's not completely lost. The 3-on-4 certainly is winnable. The question is, where do they want to go? It looks like they're just going straight back through spawn to again group up in tunnels.
Yeah, I don't know if BlameF needed to continue that aggression after his teammates got the kills, but I guess he just wanted to be the closer on the round, really, by really taking everything away from Vitality. Instead, he might have given Vitality a way back into this round, as a 3v4 isn't impossible to overcome in this situation. Rush is in a nice position, though. He just got rid of the AWP that was dropped at the long doors, and now he can just play close to this position, make sure that this area of the map is locked down, and that means Complexity can afford to commit 2 players to this B site, which may be necessary, because Vitality are looking to line up some nades at mid. It looks like it's the 2 smokes out through mid to try and take some control. But the bomb's going back up through short, so it looks like Shox will be lurking while the rest of the players try and hit A.
Yeah, we've seen him already a few times trying to cut off rotations, but when they're already outnumbered, it really relies on these 2 players to find those openings, and being shut down straight up by the Oppa Poison now leaves Shox alone in a position where even if he gets this kill, there's no way he could retrieve that bomb in time, especially with that second player over on the long corner who'd probably just shut him down as he tries to wrap up ramp. Even then, Poison doesn't let it happen, closes it out with the Op as he has a very strong round overall. And this is looking much, much better from Complexity now. They've started to actually pick up the pace a little bit. They've finally done what I said was going to be extremely difficult, which is actually putting the economy of Vitality into a spot where they do have to take that eco. They'll get a few pistols. They'll get Kevlar even on towards Apex. They can try and keep the pressure on the economy here of Complexity as well. But we should see Complexity now actually getting themselves a 4th round and really closing in what was looking to be a massive lead for Vitality in the beginning.
These AWPs are just rolling for Complexity at the start of these rounds. Another opening pick for these AWPs. This time it's Config over at A long. There was a kill back from Masuta, and Poison is in trouble. Fantastic shot from Shox as he baits out the AWP shot from the opponent, and Masuta can recover the sniper. So that's now 2 primary weapons in the hands of Vitality, and a 3v3 position to work from. And more importantly, again, Zywoo's got the AWP in his hands, so we know that that can always be a big, big difference maker in a round.
Certainly. Shox also with the M4, obviously not having Kevlar, probably won't have the ability to be quite as effective, especially on those entries, perhaps holding down on an after plant if they can manage to get that bomb planted. But for the moment, they're taking their time. I mean, they've sent Shox back in towards the spawn there just to check maybe if anyone was trying to flank them out. He's pretty quickly come back in to join them again on tunnels. And really the hope at the moment is that they're going to make a mistake and give Zywoo some sort of opportunity here to actually pick up an opening. But I don't think that's going to happen. Obo's playing passive. He has 1 player down on mid who he can call in for pretty quickly if he hears anything going on. But the push comes in pretty quickly, so he's going to have to hold this one down on his own for the moment. Opening kill goes in his favor. Zywoo not able to trade it out either, and despite Shox eventually managing to, he delayed long enough at least for Rush to get into position and help out.
I think the spacing on the push there for Vitality could have maybe been a bit better, because if they were a bit closer, then they probably could have traded out Obo before that rotation came in, but unfortunately it doesn't happen fast enough. So the second player arrives for Complexity, and then from that point, it becomes a bit too difficult for them. But still a good round, all things considered, for Vitality. And now they'll get the full buy on the board. And they really need to make sure they don't lose an early pick against these AWPs. This time they're pushing A long. They get out to this right-hand side, but the molly forces the smoke out. And RPK being boosted. They've seen this before, though. 4 CTs committed to A long, and the fights are ensuing. Apex, though, gets 2 back. So not bad for Vitality. They trade evenly, but they don't get the control they were looking for.
But they do still know that there's 2 players on long, so that's a pretty big help for them right now. Obviously, with Rush and Obo both haven't gotten frags. Surprisingly, they didn't react to that quickly to try and just bring it straight over towards B. I guess at that point, realizing by the time they'd make it back around that already Complexity could have reacted. So just slowing things down, looking to see if they can play off of this 3-on-3, which in general, of course, does tend to favor the T side. Complexity, they still have the same amount of positions to watch, but they have fewer players to do it. So they're taking a gamble. I like this. They're just going to stack up short together.
Oh, this could work out wonderfully. They're not focused on this. Apex is kind of looking there, but oh, Obo, team kill on his teammate, but he gets another frag out of it. After all is said and done, it turns into a 1v1, and it's Shox versus Config here. Shox moving on to the A bomb site. No more team kills in this round because we're down to the 1 versus 1, and the smoke will give Shox a breathing room to get this bomb planted.
That was a weird team kill, and a weird laugh from me. Apologies. Shox and Config, though, 1-on-1. A very long time for Config to rotate in at the moment, though, because he doesn't know where Shox has actually gone with this. He could have planted it for long. He could have started moving in this direction, so he spent a few seconds just waiting to see if that aggression came in. And obviously, that did give Shox the time to position himself over towards short now. Right now for the AK, at least, obviously has a defuse kit and also a Molotov, which could be used to actually stop push from Shox from really being able to push out and do anything about a defuse coming in, or at the very least forcing them through a Molotov. Does expect it to be in the CT spawn, though, so Shox is going to peek out, and just about managing to spot the head will be able to go ahead and stop that defuse. 6 for Vitality. They put a stop to what was a 4-round streak for Complexity. And considering most of those rounds were quite close, you don't see the economy being perfect here for the CT side by any means. There is a couple players who will struggle a bit to get that buyout.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they go back to the double AWPs again here, because as much as Config can afford it, some of the other players can't afford the buy, and Config sticks with the rifle, even though he can't drop a teammate, so only the single AWP for Poison. Good stuff from Shox, though. The lurk role that he's been playing, I think when he started playing this lurk role, he wasn't having as much impact as he would have hoped, but sometimes that can come down to just what your teammates are doing when you're lurking like that, when you're the last man left. And if he can win clutches like that for his team, that's all the impact he needs to have. It didn't look too fancy. It was just a 1v1, which he basically played out based on time, but it's an important round win to get on the board because, like you said, the money is now thrown into slight disarray on the Complexity side. A couple of players stuck with pistols ahead of this round, and that gives Vitality an even better chance to take over on this T side.
And again, the 4-man stack actually going to come in here for Complexity. Did spot Shox getting into the smoke. I was going to say, Config being a bit blinded there. Not sure if he had gotten himself the info. Spams through, gets the kill. Rush going to join him as well and taking a frag there. And completely denying that long push that Vitality were attempting early on. Not only getting the 2-man advantage, and with that being able to actually upgrade some of these players who were stuck on weaker weapons, but also dishing out a lot of damage towards Apex and kind of limiting what he's going to be able to do in this round.
This response from Vitality is not bad, though. They've realized that it was that full stack once again over on A long, so they've taken mid control and they're lining up this B split where Poison won't be feeling too comfortable right now with this AWP. He's got multiple angles, but he's got the first kill to go his way. Second shot through the smoke. Apex was firing off with the AK, so it gave away his position. Still probably didn't expect to be sniped through the smoke, but Poison makes the most of it, and ZywOo is already getting the hell out of there. There's a player in his spawn, though. I don't think ZywOo's aware of this. He's having a look, but as he makes steps here, Rush is about to turn this round, and Rush, okay, is actually going to go down. ZywOo is somehow ready for that, and Complexity, as soon as they realize ZywOo's got any sniff of a chance in this round, they decide, you know what, we're not going to push anymore. We're just going to let him save.
Rush said, did he see me, or is he a savant?
He's a savant. He just is.
Apex sent savant ZywOo. Yeah, I was about to say, Rush is probably like, how the hell did he know?
I know, right? I was just waiting to say, ZywOo's done for, but no, he just knows.
Should be saving with that. I mean, no one else is willing to hunt it down, and not surprisingly, considering what you have available for Complexity, they have no money in the bank before that round ended. And obviously having to reinvest a bit here to get Rush a weapon to get their own utility brought back into it, so they couldn't risk losing anyone else. On the side of Vitality, though, the up for ZywOo is probably all they're going to really have in this round. Pistols can definitely be afforded. They get 2,900, so they can buy up a little bit, but in terms of the rifles, that's definitely all they'll have available.
Yeah, not very much to work with whatsoever. ZywOo did drop his pistol over to one of his teammates even, trying to see if he can eke out whatever the hell he's got to help his teammates out in this round. But it really is going to have to be the ZywOo show in this one. Or at least we'd expect that to be the case. Pistols for Vitality taking control of lower tunnels. And finally, Complexity have gone away from that 4-man long stack, which, to their credit, was very well timed in those rounds. They went for the 4-man long stack just as Vitality were going for those long takes. So it worked really well in those rounds. And now they go back to a more standard setup across the board. The 2-1-2 split across the map. Maybe aware they're against the Pistols, so they just want to make sure that they don't lose control of any area of the map too early here.
Yeah, and it makes more sense to keep it kind of more standard when you know that you're not up against the strongest of buys. Right now, though, Vitality just completely grouping up on short. They're going to actually run boost one player out to try and take the initial attention, but Poison not going to be missing that shot. Does end up getting blinded back off the angle, though, so that gives a bit of room now for them to move forward, potentially even get this bomb planted. But I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot more than that. The kills, they do continue to come in for the CT side until eventually ZywOo pulls one back. But now he's left alone alongside Shox. But hang on, I mean, if he's given these opportunities over and over again, it is definitely achievable. As I say that, though, left in a 1-on-3, needs the ace clutch, but he just keeps on going. They need to be cautious. They can't keep peeking this 1-by-1, and he nearly had the chance there on Rush as well. It will be saved out in the end to allow Complexity to bring it back to 6-6 and tie things up, but overall, a lot more damage there for Vitality than I was expecting. Being able to get the bomb down and in the end also take out 3 players of Complexity, they have kept the CT side economy in a very weak position.
Yeah, that alone is kind of a win in some senses, just getting that damage on the board, like you were saying. And if they really want to, they can drop the AWP over again. Looks like they've not made that call. ZywOo could go without the Kevlar if he really wanted to take that risk. And of course he does. He's ZywOo. He's getting the AWP in his hands, whatever the circumstances. On the mid-cross, he is not going to take the early shot, but RPK will be moving up mid with a teammate behind him. BlameF is here to meet them, though, seeing what he can do, and RPK's alone. Easy kill from BlameF. The early cap play not expected by Vitality. Did that shot land? I think it was the nade.
Yeah, no, I don't believe so. It's only now that Shox actually took any damage there from that nade. Yeah, you could see kind of they definitely weren't expecting that short aggression. They had Shox there. He was focused towards mid, so RPK was kind of just going to have a quick glance at that point, hoping it would be clear, and then could maybe help Shox see if they could pick something off around mid, and then probably advance towards the short control as well. But yeah, taken straight down, no chance of a trade, a good opening advantage for Complexity, and they are also continuing to actually stack up around short in a very strong setup right now. Config spotted the molly there around the edge of the corner. I don't think he's going to be able to stick around too long to actually get that kill, though. So good work there by Apex, rather, being able to actually force them back and finally achieve some sort of control for the T side to work with. But if they keep losing players, it's just not going to be enough. Oh, he was definitely spotted dropping.
They pushed in tunnels as well. Config there taking a bit of damage, but Complexity have a lot of information here. Push comes into A. Great kill from Masuta. Could give them a way into this round on the Vitality side of things. Time's starting to go against them, though, and both Masuta and Apex are so low on health here that winning this round seems like a long shot right now. Another smoke deployed. That's going to be devastating for Vitality. With such little time remaining, they're just going to flash through this.
Oh, yeah, Config not hitting these off shots at the moment, and eventually repeaking a few times does cost him to pay the price of his life. Overall, shouldn't really cost them the round, though, but it has given the opportunity for a very least now Shox to get that bomb planted. So let's see. I mean, he's positioned himself on ramp. Both players trying to push in from the short position, which has now been noted by him. He's definitely aware of that, but being pushed down quickly, it actually gives him the chance for the one-on-one. How has this happened? Poison now, he's the one who has to try and force the issue, and he spots the head, fortunately. That was way too close, honestly.
Yeah, Obo just decided to run it up through the CT position, but Poison was holding with the AWP the entire time. I think that's, I guess, coming back to the AWP not being quite as versatile, not wanting to push just with his teammates, so he couldn't really help Obo on that position. He just kind of had to hold and hope that he got the trade. Luckily enough, though, Complexity end up making it work as Poison lands that shot at the end there. And it's Vitality's second tactical timeout taken ahead of this round. Another tight affair here, Dean. Mirage was pretty close throughout, and this one is looking like it's shaping up to be a similar circumstance right now.
Yeah, but I mean, looking how it's been going overall, you do have to note that Vitality, of course, had that 5-0 lead, and since then have only been able to get one more round. It's been 7 of the last 8 going in favor of Complexity. On the CT side, I mean, Dust2 is a map that is considered relatively even, maybe a tiny bit T-sided if anything. So I don't think that this is going too well for Vitality. If they can add 1 or 2 more rounds, though, if they can get even one of the last 2 that remain, then I think that they are still in a position where obviously they can come through and have a strong CT side themselves. But I think overall at the moment, Complexity are looking like the slightly better side.
Ooh, that's a risky jump from Config. He spots the player at mid, though. Masuta again just running up short. And BlameF was there to try and deal with him. Doesn't look like we'll see an instant fight in that position, though. Elsewhere across the map, early utility deployed by Complexity, just to make sure Vitality can't get away with any kills right at the start of the round. And Rush, again, is nestled into this corner over at A-Long, so Poison only has to focus on short here, where all the Vitality players are currently positioned.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a risky play. Even after getting that 1 kill now, they might try and just instantly force the issue. If they find that trade successfully, then they should have the bomb site. But despite being blinded, Poison actually gets himself a second, and that's a massive kill to find, because it leaves them in a spot where they do at least have the 1-man advantage coming into that retake, and with the nade damage as well on ZywOo, they actually have a really strong position now. They have a kit, they have a little bit of utility with some flashes and smokes remaining, and with that Molotov, Masuda has been forced out into the open, but he continues to hit the shots. Suddenly, ZywOo again being left alone in this position now, holding for Obo, hits the shot on the shoulder, and gives Vitality, as I said, that round that they really need here to make this a T-side they can be happy with. And a great recovery, being able to actually pull that after plant back.
Yeah, that's impressive for Vitality there. Like you said, once those kills came in, it looked like Complexity were going to set themselves up to maybe retake that round, but it doesn't happen. And it means that heading into the last round of the half, Complexity have not got any premium weapons available. The Scout is the best they've got in terms of value, joined by some pistols. So this is looking likely that Vitality are going to take the edge, especially because ZywOo is just entering the B bomb site and Obo might be in trouble. He's trying to reposition, but the timing's not right for him. The B site is lost, and even though the bomb isn't here, this is just so much control for Vitality.
With a buy like this as well, I don't think Complexity are really going to be able to do anything. It's obviously the final round of the half, so they have to go for it. That's why we've seen a little bit of a desperation play there through the window to see if they could pull something back before that bomb gets down and before the actual bomb site itself is taken over, and it's just not happening. Being picked off 1 by 1, Rush then left alone in the 1-on-5. Only now will the bomb actually be brought onto the site itself and planted, but even with the time that's available, his chances are pretty much 0 at this point, and hasn't even been spotted now. Apex was lurking towards the top of mid the entire time. Nearly got himself that one, but not going to happen. 8-7, Vitality, good recovery there after dropping quite a few rounds in a row, actually being able to pick up the final 2.
Good stuff from Vitality here. Very close game, though. Could go either way in the second half, so you are not going to want to miss it. Make sure to come back after the break.
My grind, elevate souls and I spread good vibes. Young divine, you know I gotta shine. Raise your hands for a good time. Aye.
Vibe until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move.
3, 2,
Bringing
1,
summer to
drop.
you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know like I know. We'll take it round and round. Yo, hold up, let me switch my flow up. Back in high school, they were telling me I'll blow up. Doing talent shows and man, everyone will show up. Got in an accident and still made it for them to go nuts. You know what? I'm so so what? I'm so That means I can't describe the way I vibe, the way I slide. And with the rhymes that make the dimes, I'll close their eyes and fantasize. Young divine calling their phone number. No, you know I love it. And you know me, I can't sleep without blazing beats. I'm stead just for that one moves gracefully, and I got a smile that they hate to see. Young, black, successful, though life gets stressful. Though life gets stressful, go and vibe out with whoever you next to.
Live until the morning, sleep until the noon.
Yeah.
You said that you want it, so I got it for
Got it.
you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move.
3, 2,
Bringing
1,
summer to
drop.
you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know like I know. We'll take it round and round again.
Oh, I see the signs and I see we're there. And I feel the lies and I feel the sand. Forever hold, no matter if we cast away. A fire in the dark. I know that you won't be where you will again.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL 1 Road to Rio, where we are right into this second half, and we have no time to waste. This could be a very close, very long map between these two teams, so we've got to get right into the action because Shox has got 2 quick headshots. Obo gets one back for Complexity, so it's a 3v4 for Complexity to try and work with.
Oh, and the flank from RPK makes it even tougher for them. Blame F goes down. At this point, both players being in towards the tunnels. Probably just going to be forced to commit to B. Surprisingly, Poison is at the moment going alone in towards the bomb site. Only now going to be joined by Obo. Gets blinded as well, which does delay things a little bit. And Shox just continues to frag. RPK might go down. That gives a little bit of an opening to Obo, but unless they continue to face him solo and don't hit their shots, then there really wasn't much he could do. I'm pretty sure that was opening 2 kills from Shox. We're just through the smoke as well. Spamming through that Xbox smoke, trying to stop the short rush, and bam, 2 headshots instantly. I didn't actually catch it from his point of view, but when I swapped over, the smoke was down.
It's hard to tell exactly where he got those kills from, but he definitely got them. I can confirm that he got those kills, and now Complexity again have gone for the force buy. That's a missed mid smoke, and that is a lot of damage onto Masuta. He's down to 9 health because the smoke on the cross ended up hitting him, I believe. That doesn't work out well for them. So one of their B players is already taken down to very low health. A second man tagged now with the scout. Both those players on the B side of the map have to be very, very careful right now.
This round has just gotten extremely risky in general for Vitality. You can see they're feeling the pressure. RPK wants to see if they can get a kill to kind of mitigate the damage that they've actually taken early on in this round, and at the very least have dealt some out towards Poison and Config. Do they want to continue with that aggression? Apparently not happy enough to just toss in a Molotov. Poison not able to escape it either. How has Rush got up towards Ramp? Okay, yeah, they actually are full on committing, but they're all very separated. Not in positions to help each other. The final player then who is trying to lurk out B will get one, I suppose, and everyone else is tagged, but I still don't think there's much that he's going to be able to do. Unless Vitality, again, are just willing to kind of face on their own. As long as they play together, play off of a bomb that they currently have control of on long, then I doubt Blame F can do really anything in this situation.
Yeah, this might end up being one of the most stressful, convincing round wins that I'll see in a while, because it doesn't feel like Vitality were too comfortable there, even though they've come away with all the kills. There were loads of moments where you felt like it could have ended up going horribly wrong for them, but BlameF is about to be flanked 4 alive at the end of the round for Vitality. They managed to hold on. They don't make any mistakes, or the mistakes that they did make weren't punished hard enough, so they get away with it. 10-7 lead for Vitality, and this time round, it should be much easier for them. Complexity buying maybe a couple of pistols. We've got some Deegs on board for them, but you wouldn't expect as much out of this round. At least I hope not for Vitality's sake, because otherwise they're going to be very stressed.
Ooh,
Okay.
straight up mid. Yeah, Apex hasn't really bought anything into this. Knowing they're up against the likely Kevlar's opponents, just sticks with the USP, gets himself 1 kill, and obviously didn't really have anything to lose. But it was still an opportunity maybe there for something to be done. It was a risky push in general. You don't want to be leaving your team with only a few, losing even any players in general. Obviously leaves some potential holes in the defense. But it looks like they've dealt with it pretty well. That flash, that was not dealt pretty well. And that's given the chance, actually, for Complexity to close in the distance with these pistols. Yeah, this could get a little bit dangerous if those Deagles hit shots, but not going to be allowed. The MP9 up close deals with 2, RPK then closes it out. So another relatively clean round there coming in for Vitality, and this time not nearly as stressful for...
Yeah, it all works out. Shox had the lawnmower, as I call it, the MP9 in hand. You can just chew up players without Kevlar with that high fire rate. So Vitality hold on. But the buy is coming up against them. Poison's got the AWP, which he's been landing quite a few shots with in the first half. On the T side, you'd expect to see more of the same on Dust2. So we'll keep track of how he can do with the AWP in his hands. It's the rifles that are starting this round with the aggression, though. Config and BlameF in tandem as they move into short. The Danish duo taking control of that area of the map, and even though they took a bit of nade damage, they've been able to get some easy early map control, and this is quite often a standard start for teams on the T side. Take short control and then work from there.
Yeah, sometimes long, swap it up every now and again. Potentially, if you get control of one early, then try and go back and get the other later in the round so that you can completely restrict control of that A bomb site. But more standard, as you said, just get that short control, look to see if you can maybe probe around mid and just see what opportunities really arise for you. And you can see for the moment, Complexity are being relatively patient, waiting to see if anyone from Vitality gets adventurous, maybe around mid or whatever. You can see a few players posted up. And it does seem like they probably will eventually move in for that control, especially with the bomb now moving back up into tunnels as well.
This B-site hold for Vitality currently has Masuta with the MP9, Apex with the M4, but Masuta might be getting aggressive here, and the timing on this could be right. The bomb is currently alone in tunnels. That's going to be a huge fight. Masuta's pushing in. Poison does get away with the kill. That's a massive frag because now Apex is solo holding this B-bomb site. He's trying to stay alive, but he gets taken down. Great shot from Config, and now Vitality are locked out of that B-bomb site.
Oh, that is very unfortunate. That was such a massive opportunity. As you said, I was so afraid they had left the bomb alone. This quick rotation, though, through the spawn could actually still do some pretty serious damage. Rush goes down pretty much instantly. BlameF fortunately returns one in mid, and then Obo just lines them up in tunnels and puts a stop to any sort of dream that I was trying to actually build there for the CT side to make a retake happen. 8 on the board for Complexity. They do manage to find their open and gun round there on the T side. Vitality, they did keep quite a few weaker weapons, though, into that previous round, so they're still going to be buying back up into this one. So it really needs to be another round here for Complexity if they really want to try and get something going early on their T side. And Vitality realized that that is what Complexity need to do, so they're like, okay, we'll pause here, we'll chat about what way exactly we want to spend this buy, pull out the best possible investment we can. They could also go for the double up setup if they want to. It could be dropped over the Shox by someone. But they know, obviously, if they do win this round, then they're not really given any openings into this game for Complexity. At that point, it will get extremely difficult because they likely would, again, just be looking at an eco.
We're seeing an SG from Obo. I didn't think we'd see any SGs.
Still viable on Dust2, I suppose.
Yeah.
Lower fire rate, of course, but with the scope and so many long-range angles, it can still be effective.
Yeah, I think there's some spots where it can still be useful. I think right now it doesn't maybe make sense at the price point. Like if it was just slightly more expensive than the AK, like back to 2.8k or something, then maybe it could be a bit more worthwhile. But We'll see what Obo gets done with it. Didn't expect to see the SG here today, but it is in play, and that's where it can be useful on the mid-cross. You can sometimes get that spray control very easily. We've seen some ridiculous headshots there. Not happening this time round, though, and with Complexity leaving the bomb in spawn, I don't expect to see too much aggression at the start of this round.
Most likely not. Maybe a couple positions. We've already seen them, though, getting the short control, so that really would have been the extent. We are seeing a player from the CT side getting quite close to the mid doors here, though. And Blame F, I was going to say up on short, does have the view above that smoke, and indeed pops out instantly, domes Apex. That's a nice advantage for Complexity very early on in this round as well. And for the moment, there is only one player over towards that B side of the map, and not really knowing what's going on around mid, of course, could make that rotation very difficult for Vitality. So if we were to see that pick go towards B, then we would see Vitality being in a lot of trouble. But right now, most of the players for Complexity are favored towards the A side of the map, including Obo now going back to retrieve that bomb.
Complexity may have a Danish in-game leader, but they're not going to be pulling the Astralis here in this one. They're not leaving the bomb in spawn. They've got it back, and they're going to be committing to this A bomb site where Vitality have got the majority of their forces. Like you pointed out, it was a risk to leave Masuta alone on that B side of the map, but the reward could be this stack over A long. This crossfire is so good. Shox baiting his teammate, but it's going to pay off for him. 2 quick kills, and that is how you bait effectively, folks. Shox basically wins the round single-handedly.
Yeah, he definitely wins it. The bomb's down. Even if Complexity just rushed up towards long and got those 2 kills, you then also have obviously a player towards mid who at that point would just be hiding. So nothing that can be done. The 2 weapons probably going to be saved over. Blame F could drop a rifle in the next round. You could see Rush and also Poison buying for themselves, so they'll still be able to get a pretty decent investment. But as I said, that is a massive round for Vitality to pick up in terms of now being able to just take control of this game and potentially start running away with the lead here on the CT side.
Yeah, definitely a gamble taken there by Vitality, but they got the read right on the situation. That stack at A long was always going to be good if the opponents pushed it. It's very difficult to expect that player to be behind the blue container. Complexity clearly weren't ready for it. I do wonder, though, whether into the future of this game, if we'll see Complexity keep on testing the waters at that B site, because statistically it's the... Wow. Okay, great shot from Shox. He's been really, really good today. Seeing him land shots like that is fantastic. But like I was saying, statistically, these are the 2 weakest players of Vitality on this B bomb site in Masuta and Apex. So either one of them has to step up, or they just have to be able to make sure that they can divert Complexity over to A, which they've done pretty well so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think it'd be a problem if it went towards B just because of the players who were there. Apex played really well on the previous map, especially, and being the B player here, you do get a little bit less action most of the time on the CT side. But Complexity, they are starting to move forward on the map. It is just over towards short again, kind of keeping it simple, as you said before. It's the most standard approach probably to the T side of Dust2. And with this short control for the moment, I mean, Vitality are playing very passive around A. One player up close on long, they then have the op all the way back towards that long corner helping out as well. Only now really transitioning to watch that short push.
Smoke down into CT spawn. Plenty of smokes deployed by Complexity, but I think they've been slowed down by some counter utility here. They're taking their time, but finally pushing onto the bomb site. Obo leading the charge with the Galil, and he will get the bomb planted without too many issues. So Vitality playing for retake here. They've got 3 kits, plenty of flashbangs, but little else in terms of utility to work with here as they start to line up this retake.
Yeah, so they're going to try and use that flash as well as they can, tossing it in as everyone begins to move forward, and the head of Config just about to be spotted by Shox, instantly taken off. We do see Blame being the only man so far who's actually able to contribute for Complexity, and that probably won't be enough. Obo, he was low health, trapped in towards Gandalf. He tried to swing out, but obviously 1 bullet to the body finishes him off instantly. So Vitality again managing to pick up another gun round, this time without any weapons being saved over. You see Complexity again in a pretty awkward spot. Thankfully getting the bomb down, so if they want it, they can buy up, but it's going to be quite limited in terms of nades that are available. So it does seem like they've decided instead just go for that half investment. But at that point, most likely conceding the 14th round to Vitality, meaning that they are going to have pretty much a flawless T-side if they want to bring it back and try and get that win in regulation.
If you were Apex here, Dean, would you be buying a helmet in this round? I think I probably would be. Against the pistols
yeah,
on the Mac 10.
Most likely.
It's a bit scary. Hopefully
Has he taken damage?
Yeah, his armor is tagged.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was going to say if it was only 350, definitely. even now, probably for the security of it, considering they also have a pretty firm lead. Right now, though, actually, it's just going to come over towards B. So Apex indeed could be challenged, but will it cost them is the question. Doesn't look like it's going to be an issue. Apex gets himself a double. He had his teammate, of course, who had actually opened up with 2 frags as well. So pretty much the full focus of Complexity was put towards that car position. The thing comes true. Apex not being taken down, so he is just going to go ahead and hide, make sure he doesn't fall, and lets his teammates deal with it instead. 14-8, a clean round from Vitality. Their economy beginning to build up into a pretty decent position, so we would need to see Complexity picking up probably 2 before they are able to force the eco out. Probably actually 1 only, because there'd be a couple players then who wouldn't really be able to buy in the round after that. But either way, a great position for Vitality. They have a massive lead. They have a good few opportunities to try and at least confirm themselves up to the overtime. And as I said, the Complexity, they can't really afford to drop another round unless they want the best thing they can be to do, rather, is to just fight for the overtime.
Yeah, and I think any questions of whether Complexity could maybe try and run some more of those B plays were kind of answered there, because that did not look too difficult for the 2 B players of Vitality there. So all good for them. They do look comfortable holding onto that B site, which is strong. Good to see, because that means that Vitality with a 14-8 lead don't need to do much more here. And this was shaping up to be a close map, but it's just kind of gotten out of hand for Complexity. I thought we'd see more from them here on the T side, but they really have been shut down in these rounds. An RPK, quick kill over at A-Long. The Molotov well placed. Couldn't allow Rush to get out in that position, and the rest of Complexity are forced back. Look at this aggression from Apex, pushing mid, and he gets away with 2 kills, almost a third there, but Obo finally puts him to bed. It's probably too little too late, though, because both of the Complexity players are really low on health here.
Yeah, no, he kept challenging towards top mid after the first kill, dealt out a lot of damage, made that player afraid to try and face in, and left that onto the man who was coming from lower tunnels to get the trade, and that didn't work out. The round just crumbled at that point for Complexity. They're also, at this point, after losing pretty much all map control already, we've seen B aggression come in, we've seen that long aggression come in now from RPK, who's trying to move in from behind. But I don't know how well the timing's going to work. There could be an opportunity for them to try and go forward. For the moment, you do just have Shocks, though, hiding in towards Goose. So not really giving over too many opportunities. RPK, he should be able to find the back and at least get one of these kills. And actually going to go ahead and just ensure that he closes the round out on his own instead. So 15. And I mean, these last few rounds for Vitality, just in general, their CT side has been a complete stump.
Yeah, it's not even been close. Complexity in the rounds that it's felt like maybe they've had a chance. I feel like they've been red in a couple of these situations. There was that one round where obviously Vitality stacked the A site when they were a man down. That went really well for them. Everything's been going just right for Vitality so far in this second half, and wouldn't be surprised if that's set to continue here, because Complexity's buy is fairly weak into this one. A couple of AKs, but a couple of weaker weapons in there, and ZywOo is just taking the fight to his opponents. P250 out, not necessary. RPK's got his back, and the nade is on point. This is game over. BlameF has to win a 1v5 with a MAC-10, and that is not likely.
No, it is near impossible, and we are shown that as he tries to peek in, gets wrecked by 2 players who are holding the same angle. And with that, I mean, Vitality, up until the half time,